Are you the kind of person that is always saying yes, always putting other people's problems before yours, maybe keeping quiet to avoid conflict, apologizing for things that are not your fault or your responsibility, seeking praise and validation from others? If you said yes to one or more of those things, you might be a people pleaser. I used to be a people pleaser too. I thought that getting along with people was what made me valuable. But what I realized after a lot of work and reflection was that ultimately it left me unfulfilled and resentful and burnt out. If this all sounds familiar, I want to give you a few tips that will help you move from people pleaser to self advocate. First, consider how every decision you make is going to impact your well being. Just pause. Remind yourself to pause and actually think about what is being asked of you, how that will impact you and your well being. If you're not 100% yes, figure out why, and it's probably a no. Also, if you have a hard time saying no, remember that you can do this in baby steps. You can say no to part of a request. You don't have to be like, no. You can say no and. You can also ask questions to clarify, well, what's actually being asked of me? Do I need to really help with all of this? Is there somebody else that could help? So remember, saying no does not always have to mean, no, I'm not doing it. Be mindful about setting boundaries for yourself and honoring them. A lot of us will set these boundaries or we'll say, hey, this is a boundary, but then we won't honor them. We won't enforce them. So you need to stop. When somebody crosses a boundary, you need to stop and decide, how am I going to address this? Practice open communication. It can be so hard as a people pleaser to communicate because you just want to say yes. You just want to make the other person happy and have everyone get along. I have learned that having communication frameworks has been extremely helpful because it gives you a process to go through of explaining your thoughts and honoring your feelings and emotions, expressing your needs, telling them what you're willing to do about the situation, what you need too. I'll link to one of my favorites in the comments. And just start holding space for yourself. Just hold space for yourself instead of holding on to other people's problems. Holding on to other people's problems is not healthy for you. But what you want to learn to do is hold space for others. In order to do that, you have to learn how to hold space for yourself first. And remember that holding space is not about being attached to whatever you're holding that space for. It's just being a container. You are not selfish.